and welcome to the Property News on Magic Bricks Now, India's first property channel. I'm Amita Balachandra. Let's take a look at the top headlines at this hour.
We are also now looking at industrial townships, so that's likely to take place in Pune, it's likely to take place in Nasik, and it's likely to take place in Chennai.
Today's big exclusive, Niranjan Hiranandani will now build industrial townships. The developer, famed for marquee townships and commercial spaces, has invested in Pune, Nashik and Chennai for his new venture. Project delays have compelled bankers also to think out of the box in an exclusive interview with Magic Bricks. Now, Anup Kumar Saha, who heads retail banking at ICICI, tells us that ICICI Bank officials now choose to meet developers at their construction sites, thereby signaling the bank's stance on timely delivery of homes. And in Delhi, work on the national capital's first redevelopment project may finally start in another 2 months. The Delhi Development Authority, or DDA, reaches out to residents of the 7-acre Kotputli colony. First proposed in 2009, work on this project in central Delhi had been in limbo for over 7 years. Kicking off the property news with our big exclusive, Niranjan Hiranandani is looking to cash in on the government's Make in India push. The developer will make industrial townships in Pune, Nashik and Chennai. Work on these projects can start as early as this December is what we learn. My colleague Disha Shah caught up with Niranjan Hiranandani and gets us these exclusive details.
Talking about new development from Hiranandani, we know that you have acquired land parcels in Nashik, Pune, Alibag also for that matter. So what kind of development we'll see that across these three markets?
See, basically, what are we strong at? We're strong at townships. So you will see townships which take place in Alibag, you will see it in Pune, you will see it in Nasik, you will see it and maybe in Ahmedabad. And of course, in Chennai, we're already there. However, we are also now looking at industrial townships. So that's likely to take place in Pune, it's likely to take place in Nasik, and it's likely to take place in Chennai. They're all on the anvil, but not taken off.
So, but how huge that will be? I mean, how much acre of land, what kind of investment, and what is the timeline that we are looking at?
Well, Pune is 250 acres, Nasik is 77 acres, Chennai is 160 acres. We haven't really finalized all the investments portfolios, but I think in each of the segments about 25-30 acres to start with. So I think maybe 400-500 crores, and that's how the starting point will take place.
And which will be the areas in all the three markets?
As far as the industrial township is concerned, we are looking at Talegaon in Pune. We are looking at Nasik on the Nasik-Sinnar road. In the case of Chennai, we are looking at Palur. So these are the various segments where we have focused.
Okay. Talking about the gift city, Hiranandani, we know that you are building a commercial development. So what is the status on that? Is December 2016 we looking at?
Yes, you hit the nail on the head. It's probably my most ambitious building, following the guidelines of Mr. Narendra Modi. His gift city is his dream. His international financial center is getting ready, and we've agreed to take up the challenge to complete a 17-story building by December of this year, within 12 months. It's quite a challenge, and we are aspiring to close the entire building and we have it ready to be inaugurated at the time of Vibrant Gujarat.
Okay. Any other development you're planning within gift city? Any in the future, in the pipeline?
Not immediately in the pipeline, but we have other lands in Ahmedabad, which is about 27-30 acres, wherein we have a kind of a small township. Not yet finalized, not yet started, but maybe before the end of the year, we should be able to start that.
Time then for another Magic Bricks Now exclusive. Project delays are forcing bankers as well to think out of the box. Kavita Krishnan caught up with Anup Kumar Saha, head of ICICI Bank's auto and home loan business, who told her that the bank's officials now choose to meet the developers at their construction sites, thereby signaling the bank's stance on timely delivery of homes.
online is what is happening today. If you look at most of the consumers who are buying houses or anything are very highly on the internet or mobile. So we said, let's set up the complete architecture where in terms of looking at his eligibility, looking at the projects which we as a bank would have approved, looking at what is the loan amount, at what is the interest rate, what are the tenors he is really looking at. Once the consumer does all that, eventually what does he need? He looks at a sanction, whether can I give you a sanction. In this what we did, we said you can upload all documents, we will have a set of teams who are working round the clock, they look at your file and give you your decisions in 8 hours time. Now what does this do? This in a way ensures that the whole process of sanctioning becomes really fast.
You also brought a mortgage guarantee backed product. This is largely targeted at the 30 to 45 age group. Now this is the age group which is actively buying homes from what we've heard.
Right.
How has that really contributed to the growth in your portfolio?
The concept around mortgage guarantee is in a way a risk protection concept. A lot of consumers, when they are buying in the age group of 35, 40, and they are looking at a 20-year loan or a 25-year loan, many a times, because their retirement age would be there, they will not be able to get that kind of tenor. So we brought in this product either to improve the eligibility or to improve the tenor. In a way, it's a win-win for the consumer and the bank, and he does not have to engage with the guarantee company separate.
You also mentioned delays. Now that is a big issue which has brought home buyers onto the streets. You're seeing a lot of protests, a lot of complaints. State governments are now getting into trying to solve these issues. How do you view all of this as a lender?
See, my point, Kavita, on that is, even as a consumer, I feel very bad about it, because it hurts, right? If you have bought your first house and you have to wait for 5-7 years, you feel really bad. So I guess this is an issue which has to be sorted out, and I think with the RERA bill being put in place, the developers have understood the seriousness of the whole thing. And believe me, I know a lot of developers are today focusing on completing a lot of these projects, because end of the day they have to remain in this business, and the only way they will remain in this business when they deliver houses. From the point of consumers, what we have seen is there are two things. As long as the consumer entered the project at a price and current price, there is a significant upside he got, he has a slightly higher patience level than customers who obviously have not seen appreciation and they are paying rent somewhere else, because that's in a way double hit for them, right. So I guess the only solution to this is to developers to start completing the project. So one of the thing which we also now put a test is, whenever we meet developers, we tell them that we will meet you at this site only, because that's one way of messaging them out, saying this is what you are there for, which as long as the project gets completed, we all are happy.
Shifting focus to Bengaluru now. In Bengaluru, the civic body BBMP has gone on a road trip to reach out to citizens for its smart city project. Now, the BBMP, which is a civic body, has also appointed popular Kannada actor Sudeep as its brand ambassador. The civic body, we hear, has already gotten an overwhelming response for the project. What we're picking up, of course, is that most of the feedback has come in from citizens to develop IT zones in Bengaluru. Not so surprising there, considering Bengaluru is a Silicon Valley of India. Also, areas in the north zone like Yelahanka and Hebbal have also gotten maximum number of votes. The BBMP, meanwhile, along with conducting roadshows, is also engaging with citizens across 8 zones of the city. The deadline to form a report for the same is on the 30th of June 2016. Magic Bricks now, of course, will keep a close tab on this for you. Moving on, big setback for Vijay Mallya. Mallya has been declared a proclaimed offender by PMLA court. Enforcement Director can now attach Mallya's properties worth 4,000 crore rupee, and now Mallya will have to appear before the court within 30 days. Now, ED can take assistance of Interpol post-PMLA court order. That's something that we'll keep a close watch on as well on Magic Bricks. Now, straight up to our top story, the redevelopment of Delhi's Kotputli colony in limbo since 2009 could finally kickstart in the next 2 months. The Delhi Development Authority, or the DDA, recently met with residents and signed agreements to get the project started. Deepa Rana gets us this report on what could be the first instance of redevelopment in New Delhi.
Kotputli, located in the heart of New Delhi, home to folk artists, is also the city's first slum to be taken up for redevelopment on a public-private partnership model in 2009. However, the project has been in limbo since then. But a recent meeting that the Delhi Development Authority, or the DDA, had with the slum dwellers has raised hopes that work on the project might just begin in another 2 months.
For last, say, 1 year, we tried to take final decision on this. Ultimately, with the approval of Ministry of Urban Development and in consonance with the policy of DOSIP, we have been able to finalize the prices, rates, cost of these flats to be charged from the beneficiaries, which is now 1.12 lakh per flat plus a cost of 30,000 towards maintenance for 5 years.
The stalemate over Kotputli Colony's redevelopment project is going to end soon. The Delhi Development Authority's Land Commissioner informs us that work on this redevelopment project, which has been stuck for the longest time now, is going to begin in 2 months' time. Now, the people of the Kotputli Colony, the residents, are agreeing to move and live in the resettlement camps as is provided by the builder only if an agreement has been worked upon. We are also informed by the DDA that a tri-party agreement between the developer and the residents along with the DDA has been worked upon.
The colony is over 40 years old and is home to families of puppeteers, magicians, folk singers, painters, dancers, acrobats, jugglers and storytellers. Nearly 2,800 families live in this slum. Now, earlier about 500 people had relocated to the resettlement camp, but most of the residents refused to leave their homes in a fear that they will not be allocated the plots, as not everyone has a registered dwelling unit in the colony. It is also the first of its kind redevelopment project being carried out by the government with Raheja developers.
जब लिख के दे दो वहाँ पे कि हाँ जी आपको यहाँ से उठाया जाएगा, यहाँ बसाया जाएगा, वहाँ से उठाया जाएगा, फिर कठपुतली में शिफ्ट किया जाएगा, तो आपको परेशानी क्या हो रही है? दे देना चाहिए डीडीए ने, पर पता ही नहीं लग रहा है डीडीए कर क्या रही है।
मैं इस एग्रीमेंट के तहत नहीं आया हूँ, मैं उच्च न्यायालय और भारतीय संविधान के आदेश का पालन करके इस कैंप में आया हूँ और ये विश्वास दिलाया हेमा कोहली जी है जस्टिस हाई कोर्ट की, उन्होंने कहा कि अगर आपके साथ कोई धोखा होता है तो आप हमारे पास आइए और आपको न्याय पूरा मिलेगा। इस विश्वास के ऊपर हम यहाँ आए हैं।
However, not all residents who are eligible for homes are living in Kotputli. 527 families have already moved to transit accommodation provided by the developer. These families were even more worried because they feared that they would lose their homes with no progress on the project. But DDA's latest move should bring them relief.
For the debtors, these Kotputli colony people, the genuine people, they want that government should, and DDA also wants, that the government should give a minimum deterrence by way of protection to the people who are shifting.
The developer of the project is also cheering the move and says work can start as soon as DDA gives its approval.
Spread over 7 acres, Delhi's Kotputli colony is located at the prime location in the national capital, not very far from central Delhi. It is also surrounded by most expensive residential colonies like Rajouri Garden, Patel Nagar and more. And also the revamped Kotputli colony will see a commercial complex and residential complex coming up along with 2,800 dwelling units for the EWS sections in the affordable housing scheme. Therefore, it's a win-win situation both for the developers and for the residents of the Kotputli colony. This is Deepa Rana for Magic Bricks Now in New Delhi.
Moving on now to our special series, Is Mumbai Rain Ready? Mumbai civic authorities are thanking the rain gods for this unexpected delay. Had monsoon hit Mumbai when they were expected, the city would have come to a standstill. IMD Mumbai officials say monsoon onset is not expected in the next 3 to 4 days. And after BMC, MMRDA is gearing up now for the monsoons. The authority has established a 24/7 control room which will take round-the-clock follow-up on actions, interact with various disaster control agencies. This control room will be operational till the 30th of September 2016. The authority has provided deputy engineers' numbers as well in that list that you see on your screen right now. Keeping with the monsoons, while Mumbai civic body burns the midnight oil to get Mumbai rain ready, in Hyderabad, Minister of Urban Development K.T. Ramarao was seen conducting an inspection to check if the upcoming IT hub is rain ready. The Telangana minister was seen in Srinagar colony carrying out a thorough inspection. K.T. Ramarao assured residents before the monsoon that the construction waste piled up around the city would be disposed, along with speedy road repair to beat monsoon woes in Hyderabad. In problem areas, authorities are now planning to set up mortars to pump out water to avoid flooding, while rounds by a minister of his caliber definitely boost morale of the people in the vicinity. It remains to be seen if Hyderabad will be rain ready at all this year. Moving on now, in the latest into the probe of the murder of activist J. Parasmal in Chennai, police are looking into the possibility of his elder brother having killed the whistleblower over a property dispute. This comes after another person, S. Sadashivam, surrendered before the police today. Preliminary investigations reveal that Parasmal was involved in a property feud with his brother, and his brother could then have killed him over the same. Remember, Parasmal was killed in the middle of a road by bike-borne assailants in Periampet when he was returning home, leading to speculation that he was killed by power mafia after he had blown the lid on the state-run electricity board. Our reporter Vijay sent us this report.
It's been almost a week since the gruesome and brutal murder of RTI activist Parasmal Jain here in Chennai. Family members suspect that it was local goons who were hired by those authorities whom Parasmal Jain was continuously filing RTI applications and questioning illegal buildings in his area. Of course, the police have not given any information as of now, and they have only made one arrest, the auto rickshaw driver who was involved in the murder of Parasmal Jain on that particular day. In Chennai, with camera person Manish, Vijay Chris Das for Magic Bricks Now.
Well, that's the case that we will continue to keep a close tab on Magic Bricks Now. Moving on to the interior show. Smita and Hemant from Note D share their expert tips with you on how to work with different decor themes and how to liven up your living room. Take a look.
My first basic question to you guys is that most modern houses are not very huge, and hence there's not much space to carve out a waiting area. So I'm sure there is some minimum space that you require. So what would that be?
You know, a waiting area doesn't necessarily need to have seats in it. It doesn't need to be necessary for seating. So the minimum could be, you know, just enough to screen off the rest of the house if somebody's at the door.
So in terms of like screening the door and those people, you can just use a plant. You can use some kind of partition like a screen or something. You don't have to build a wall.
But how do you at the same time also ensure that, you know, a guest doesn't feel alienated in a waiting area?
So one key thing is to make sure the waiting area isn't a leftover space. It doesn't look like, you know, it's this neglected sort of zoned away space. You have to make it pretty. Like there should either be sculpture, you know, plants, etc. Or light is a big factor in this space because it's generally the darkest part of the house.
What kind of furniture do you think is suited best for a waiting area?
What we've done in some projects is used the storage for your shoes, etc., and keys as the partition between the main house and this waiting area.
Okay.
And you like, don't need to make it very comfortable. I mean, there could be just stools over there and something very light. it shouldn't be very bulky or not something very ornate in that sense.
Okay. So in another project, we've used a line of plants, which demarcate the space. In another place, we have sculpture there.
Thank you so much, Smita and Hemant, for all that information. But it's time to move from the waiting room to the query room, because it's time for us to address all your queries. And I'm sure Hemant and Smita are all set to give you the perfect solution. So are you guys ready?
Yes.
Let's start with the first question. Shikha from Kolkata says, in my ancestral home, I have old wooden shutter windows. I want to take these shutters with me to my new house. How can I reuse them for my new apartment?
The woodwork in Calcutta must be like really pretty, and it's from an old house. So there are like various ways to use it. I think some of the most like conventional ways is that you can use them for like a storage shutter, or you can add it to maybe like the waiting area furniture as well, so that it'll give an identity. Because now I think these pieces have become like pieces of art in themselves. Just maybe like you can also add them to like the headboard of your master bedroom bed. I think
that'd be interesting.
Also...
Let's move on to the next question. Manish from Mumbai says, my grandfather has a collection of old vinyl records and a dysfunctional gramophone. I do not want to discard them. How can I include it in my decor for my house?
So one technique that we've used quite a lot is the idea of framing. So even in Sid's house, there's an old gramophone which we left as it is. It was an art piece. At my place, you put them in bell jars. So it was just about framing. The way you would frame an object would become quite important.
And maybe the covers of these vinyls are also quite interesting, and in fact they are now like collector's items. So you can like literally frame them and you can put them on the wall.
Okay, with that, let's move on to the second last question of the day. Saket asks, I do not like paintings or photographs as a focal point on the walls. What are the other ways in which I can accentuate the walls of my bedroom?
So, I mean, there's very typical ways where you play with the texture of a wall, or you use materiality as a way. But one thing that we've worked a lot with is this light and shadow, and a nice way of understanding how the light falls on the wall and how shadows fall could be quite interesting.
Yeah, but you can have a graffiti on the wall if you want to. I mean, you can have the wall itself as the canvas.
With that, we've completely run out of time on the property news on Magic Bricks Now. Thank you for watching.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/magicbricksnow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magic Bricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/magicbricksnow.